Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
All right, so you didn't catch the show. I got an opportunity to catch it. Rehashing old stuff. If you recall, not too long ago, Chris said it was probably 2 weeks ago. It was more than that, but remember when they talked about the Doro song? What was it called? It was the Warriors of the Sea, and they were poking fun at it. It's like, yeah, she's trying to get on cruises. Makes sense. I mean, if you know how the business runs these days, whether festivals are the big money thing, gigs, and same with the cruises. I mean, it's just like you perform twice, you get great accommodations. You can hide out if you want, or you can go, check out bands amongst the fans or whatever. But they brought that up again, and they played the video, and they acted like it was, like it was new. I mean, they did bring up, we talked about that a couple weeks back. It's like, well, it was longer than that, and you dragged that out for almost a segment. So that was one of the things that they brought up. Obviously, the first hour is always them just the same hour. Yeah, it's the basic stuff. I mean, by the time you're done with the first hour, you're pretty much nauseous from all the knows from the professional broadcaster.
Yes.
So they tackled the Doro thing, and they dragged that out. I mean, they longer than they should have. I mean, it should have been a 5-10 minute thing, and then next thing you know, it's like 20 minutes or something. They did mention, and this should be of interest to you because I know you're a Kiss fan. I'm a Kiss fan. I guess I am a Kiss fan. I mean, I think I kind of dropped out once the Peter and Ace were out of the picture for good. I like Thayer. I like Singer. I just don't like him in the paint. And I caught a couple shows, but not huge on that. I mean, I could take or leave it really. But they did bring up and for obvious reasons again, because Trump, because that's their bread and butter, right? They're not political, but they always bring up politics, and him honoring Kiss on that Kennedy Center honors. And what's interesting there is that Neely, he brought it up, but he doesn't even know what that is. I mean, he's a total fucking imbecile. So he goes, "Oh, it's like a Grammy or something."
So
like
he
that.
never. Okay, hold on. Time out. So
Go ahead.
He's a Led Zeppelin fan.
Right.
He never watched Heart do it with Bonham while the other. Okay.
Yeah, and so they did bring that up. Chris even said, "Well, I guess I ought to watch the Heart doing the Zeppelin tribute." So they went off on that. But what is interesting though, and you know if you followed Paul Stanley how anti-Trump he is. He hasn't said anything negative, and he said good words about receiving the honor. So it sounds like the four original guys, if they make it. They don't. The Reaper doesn't come collect.
Father Time doesn't come. Yeah,
but they may all be there, which would be kind of cool. I think. I mean, Peter's got to be pretty frail by this point, right? Isn't he hovering around 80 or something?
78, I believe.
78
or something like that.
But so, anyways, they talked about that, and obviously the Clip Clop always has to read the articles, always struggles through them. As usual,
enunciating his words.
Yeah, and so there was more of that. A complete bore fest. And then they did bring up the Chuck Garrick from Bisto Blanco and Cooper Band filling in for the bass player of Scorpions. I don't even know the guy's name. I mean, the last guy. Before that, I think I don't even remember that guy. I do remember Francis Buchholz, who they totally butchered the name. But yeah, I guess he's going to fill in for 5 shows, and who knows? I mean, they might poach that guy from the Cooper band for all we know, right? I mean, it may
Is
turn out
Pavel out? Is that the deal, or is he
I
having
guess it
health
was
issues?
something related to some kind of conflict. Who knows? I mean, he's one of the younger guys in the band, but I'm sure if he had some kind of medical procedure or something, it probably
Yeah.
sideline him for a little bit. So
Uh,
I think we might have broken Neely out of saying Las Vegas because he's starting to pronounce it correctly for a change. So I think
Gotcha.
we've gotten that. The paid segment, complete garbage as usual. It was more Chris bringing up vigilante justice, talking tough, and how he'd pull the judge out on this staged video of a guy keying a car. So nothing of value there, and they did drag that
Let's
one out
kill
for
people
yeah,
over minor vandalism.
right. Rather than push the guy over. It was a guy on a scooter, and he was keying this car, and I'm thinking, roll down the window, push him over. I mean, you don't need to get super violent with him, or just drive off. But
Confront
so
them.
yeah,
Just say,
so
hey,
that
what the
was
fuck you doing?
so that was the paid segment, and it's just ridiculous. It seems like the requests are getting longer and longer, for obvious reasons. I think it's just
Gotcha.
like they don't have the content. I mean, they just don't.
Mhm.
They don't have guests. They don't have callers. They don't want to rely on that. Okay, so I guess you'll suffer the consequences, I guess. I mean, again, some of this stuff would be things where you'd have like I don't know, Sal or Jackal, or somebody chime in on some of the news stories, Tim James, and they'd bring a different perspective. They'd take a little bit of a ribbing, but it would drag it out a little longer, and it'd be more fun rather than these two idiots who, oftentimes get things wrong. And then next thing was somebody sent them a video of what appears to be this couple that are like in their, I don't know, probably 60s, Neely's age, and they're singing a song, kind of a goof on their love of KFC, and I'm like, and they went off on that too, and I'm like, I don't see the value of listening to this. And again, like I have the show on as background noise while I do something more productive, right? And I'm thinking, man, this wouldn't have kept my attention if I was just, trying to kill time and sitting there watching this on Rumble. I'd be like, what the fuck am I doing? Instead, I'm doing something more productive, chores and whatnot. And that's just kind of in the background and just kind of keeping an eye on the screen throughout. But again, total fail. It is football season or preseason. And again, they had to bring up the NFL and how the NFL is going to have the Stop Hate campaign. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? I mean, think about that. I mean, maybe I could take or leave it personally, but it's not going to bother me to the point that I'm not going to watch a game over it.
No.
But again, here comes the racist shit about black players. And here's a quote from Neely. I stopped watching because I don't believe in the message. Surprise, right? I mean, it's like, well, one of the most hateful bastards out there, and he doesn't believe in the campaign. Again, I could take or leave it, you know what I mean? Because I'm not going around doing the hating, but it really bothers these racist dudes. The fact that it has some kind of a message in the end zones. And then that led to some nonsense about women voting and how they disagree that they shouldn't vote because they're too emotional. I mean, again, typical stuff that they say that are just totally asinine and stupid. Yeah,
thoughts,
and they did mention, they go, yeah, some people think we're Neanderthals because of it. It's like, because you are. Here's one of the things, and then we'll have I'll throw out the other couple things, and then we'll touch on Megadeth, because that was, again, not super interesting when you hear them talk about it, but it is somewhat interesting, I think, from a fan perspective. Okay, we tackled the women. Oh, the next thing was their fascination with Beavis and Butthead. I mean, they played the trailer for the new season and they're just
Mhm.
chuckling. And I'm thinking, I don't see anything funny here. I mean, again, when they had the first round of Beavis and Butthead, I didn't even think it was that funny then. But these guys are just like, you know what I mean? It's just like there's these
I would
guys that
call
are
it
in their
mildly amusing when I
sure,
was 14, because
right.
that was when it came out, or
Sure.
15 or
And
whatever,
that's your
and
mentality at the time, right? And
yeah,
even then
yeah,
you're kind
yeah.
of like,
And so like now I'll go back and look at a segment or two that I think is a character and the way
sure.
they interacted, but I can't sit through a whole episode
No.
watching these two guys interact.
Right.
No.
So, and they're just like, oh, we can't wait for the next season. And I'm thinking that's like television for the fucking brain dead.
For Neanderthals.
For morons. I mean, really.
Yeah,
Uh,
idiots. Yeah, trailer Ohio
so
people.
we'll
Sorry.
skip over Megadeth because that's really the one thing we can spend some time talking about. But then they spent the tail end of the show, and the last segment was probably creeping up at an hour and 20, 25 minutes, close to 90 minutes. But they
Mhm.
spent this time originally um, praising this guy, this pop singer, J.P. Sachs, who canceled his tour due to lack of ticket sales. And then they started playing the songs, and then they're railing on that. I'm like, okay, I get the point. It's not very good. I get it, right? And not my thing either. And then they're like, well, let's play another video, and let's play another video, and you know what I mean? It's just kind of like these guys can't read the room. It's like, but then again, the room is those idiots in the chat room, and they're all
The
high or
same
drunk or
25
both.
people.
Yeah,
The same
it's the same
25
idiots.
people over and over.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was basically the show, aside from
Okay.
Megadeth. So let me touch
Okay.
on what they said about Megadeth. Or
Well,
go
hold on,
ahead.
hold on. Before we get to that, because we'll have a whole conversation about Megadeth, but I just want to go over a couple things and just help me refresh my memory here, because you
Right.
threw a lot at me there. But
Right.
what was the first topic they went over?
Well, the first real topic was the Doro. Not
Okay.
related to their week or their how busy they are and
I was just
Dokken
going to
shit.
mention real quick on that.
Right.
What is there to knock about Doro? She has her niche. She does her thing. She's
Yeah.
pretty consistent with what she does. If you either like it
Mhm.
or you don't like it,
Right.
and I think some of that can be based upon the fact that she's German, and so some people in America may not be hip to
Mhm.
what she's doing, whereas it's quite a bit more popular, I think, over there. But it still has its place, and she most certainly has the right to make a song about going on the cruise, where or whatever it's about. I haven't heard the song. I'm just saying that if this is something that she's routinely getting work from, what? Well, you're not hating on Don when he's up there
Right.
belching on the microphone, taking a seat while George is huffing. He's huffing and puffing while George is doing a guitar.
And then-
But you're gonna knock Doro
Right.
for making a song about how she goes and earns bread.
Yeah, and
Okay.
then I think they backpedaled a little bit because they're like, well, it's not a terrible song. And it's like, well, okay, well, why talk
No,
about it
probably not.
again? Because we already
pretty
went through
consistent.
this. Yeah, we went through this like a month ago, or probably a
So-
little longer.
And I should go on the record as having the reason why I did not listen to the show, ladies and gentlemen, is as the bass player for Steel Piston. I was out doing a casino gig with Steel Piston. So there you go. And I understand how, when, as an artist or a musician, I'm not going to call myself an artist, a musician, when you're playing a gig, if you're on the cruise or at a casino, it's very accommodating for the artist and the musician. You have accommodations right there, food right there. You're getting, if her case, getting paid to perform 2 or 3 times, as I understand some of these bands do on the cruises. It's multiple paychecks, or at least one large paycheck for multiple performances. You don't have to travel anywhere. You have to set up very little stuff. Probably have to set up 1 time, 2 times for your performances. And other than that, you're selling merch, meeting people, just going to get something to eat, going back into your room. When you play the casino game, you go right upstairs to your room to go to sleep after the show, instead of having to load stuff and go somewhere else to a hotel or whatever, all that, or travel to the next town, as the case may be for certain artists. It's convenient. Of course she's going to go do that. Of course, all these, and
Right.
I would imagine other artists may write songs in their appreciation of this kind of cool atmosphere to play a show. anyways, that's number one. What was the second thing that you brought up there? That was
Let's see. So we went
because I had all these
Doro.
thoughts going
We
through.
got Doro. Oh, Kiss Kennedy
Yes.
Center Honors. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So Neely has never bothered to. I mean, even I'm not a Hart fan, but even I was pretty moved by Hart's performance of that song with Jason Bonham on the kit, the way Robert and Jimmy and even John Paul Jones, who like they're all struggling to hold back tears while this is going down, thinking about their lost friend and seeing this tribute, this performance that's tributing them, but done in a very tasteful manner, in my opinion. So if Neely hasn't seen that and he claims to be a Zeppelin fan, I'm not even a huge Zeppelin fan. I've seen that. Come on.
Well,
So
yeah, and I was surprised that Chris had. He goes, I guess I better watch that. And I'm like,
yeah,
Jesus,
if you
you're
guys
another
have
one.
it, you better hit
Yeah.
YouTube and go watch that. It's a very, very
Right.
stunning performance, and
Right.
just the way it was very. And with again, I think the cool angle when Jason came out with them to do it was just awesome. So,
Right.
that was number two. And so yes, Kiss, and going in there. I don't know what people are expecting. The chances of a full performance or
Right.
something going on is slim to none. They'll
Yeah.
be there together doing something, watching someone else perform one of their songs
Right.
or something, and that will be cool if it's done the right way. I don't have any. I guess there's some political bent because every
Right.
president has had at least a hand in either announcing or being a part of the thing or having some, I think, their administration has some say in who's being put in here and who's not. That's kind of Obama did the same thing. So why would anyone hate on these things? This
Right.
is something, kind of a traditional thing I think the presidents do at the Kennedy Center. So, I don't, again, lack of understanding or knowledge of
Right.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
I
And
understand you. One of you is an IT guy though, so a Google search, a YouTube search helps solve these things these
Right.
days. It takes 5 minutes of your time. It's not like we're asking you to go on some extravaganza to learn something. 5 minutes of your time would educate you on the subject before you open your trap. What was the next thing with the third one?
let me look here. So we went
There was thoughts
Kennedy
kept going through
Center.
my head as you went down
I think
these.
the next one was. I think the next one was. Oh, Chuck Garrick. Chuck Garrick.
Yeah.
Playing with
The
Scorpions. Yeah.
Scorpions, yeah. Even, but I think Pavella is how you say his name, if I'm not
There you go.
mistaken. I could be wrong. And
Yeah.
Mickey D are the kind of the younger guys in the band,
Right.
but they're still not young by
Right.
our standards. They're older than me, and so of course they could have health issues. I believe Mickey had some things go on a while back, and they had to cancel some gigs. But Chuck will do just fine whether they steal him from me. And I
Right.
don't know what their situation with the other guy is.
Right.
He seemed to do just a fine job. But again, to not know Francis, who's
Yeah.
like the classic era guy. I mean, I think he was in it as far back almost as Klaus and
Right.
Lemmy, or came in before Rare Bell.
Yeah.
So he was in it since the early 70s,
Yeah.
all the way through their prime years. And to not know his name and I think for the record, the reason why he was not in the Scorpions is he was running merchandise with his wife,
Yeah.
and there was some
Financial
disputes
shit,
over with the cuts that people were getting or whatever.
Right.
So what I'm saying is to not know that. I mean, then you're not really a Scorpions fan. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And anyone who says, well, wow, who is that guy? Okay, go get on the YouTube and hit Michael Schenker
Yeah.
Temple of Rock
Oh, yeah, that was
live, and
great,
you'll see
yeah.
a performance where it's Rare Bell and
And-
Buchholz
yeah.
on bass
Right.
with Michael Schenker, and I believe they had Doogie or someone singing, and you can see them live doing these songs. That's a hell of a rhythm section, even at their advanced senior age. They did a great job on the Scorpion songs, the UFO songs, the Schenker songs, and it was a cool thing. So go check that out. Again, I'm probably something Aiken and Neely never bothered to search
No.
up and
No.
realize that Francis is still out there gigging sometimes, and even
Right.
Herman can still out there and throw down when the timing's right. So anyways, that was that one. I think there was a couple other topics you had there. It
Yeah,
sounded
just
like
the
the
vigilante
Neanderthals.
justice, the KFC video, and the NFL.
Okay, real quick.
Yeah.
Let's go vigilante justice first. So you didn't shoot at the people when they're still in your car, but when he is going to shoot at somebody who's running a key across the door when they're riding by or whatever.
It's
Come
hysterical.
on. It's called car insurance. Car insurance fixes that kind of stuff. And if you have car insurance, and so,
Yeah.
and like, that's still not, no matter, again, not understanding when lethal force should be used leads to morons making stupid decisions. vandalism does not rise to why we're going to use lethal force on someone, even if you're a cop or whatever. There's no reason. So the Aiken's going to go about busting out. Aiken, you can't leave the house to get to the gas
Right.
station,
He
bro.
can't
You
go to
couldn't
Sheetz.
walk through a Walmart. You could not walk through a Walmart on your own through the whole store and do your own shopping. You would huff and puff and fall over and get run out of breath and need to sit down and or call an ambulance. Let's be real. So maybe if you drove by that, because you even admit you never go anywhere in your car, so it'd be the chance you were driving by with the judge and you were going to handle some justice. You know,
Right.
like, come on, dude.
I think he really thinks he's Judge Aiken sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm not. I get it. It's part of the shtick for the show, dude. But we
Yeah.
can see through some of this stuff. And
It's
like with
just
me and Andrew
stupid.
talking recently, it's boomer talk. It's constant
Yeah.
boomer talk. It's old guy talk.
Yeah.
It's like watching Gran Torino. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I feel like
There
I'm
you
watching.
go.
know?
I think that totally
That's what
sums it up.
That's these guys, right? So, and I'm not saying that's a funny movie, to be honest, but it's got some interesting
No.
points there. But Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood is very displaying of this is how these people are
Yeah.
fucking thinking of shit, dude.
Right.
And so, anyway, so that's that. The KFC, come on, man.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
just filler shit.
Aiken,
I mean, it's
Aiken
just
probably gets
stupid.
Aiken probably gets DoorDash KFC fucking once a week. I'm imagining because he can't leave the crib, right? So he gets
Oh, I
it
think
dropped at the
several
door.
times a week, probably.
Yeah. So yeah, and yeah. So there we go.
And then the
Not
NFL,
surprised with
the
any of
NFL,
those
the
talk-
stop
yeah.
hate. They're not
I was gonna
fans
mention
of that.
too. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back because I'm a San Francisco 49er
Right.
fan, and I received a lot of backlash from my white brethren out
Mm.
there that were like, "How could you wear a Kaepernick jersey or
Oh,
a
right.
Kaepernick shirt and be approval of this guy?" Right back
Mhm.
when because he really was the one that started
Yeah.
the all white people's hate towards
And
these
the
guys.
kneeling, the kneeings
And I
on
said
the
at the
taking
time-
the knee. Yeah.
Yeah, and I said at the time, and I'll say it again. There's this thing in our Constitution and what our country is founded upon that with freedom of speech and freedom of religion and freedom of thought and all these things that are important. And so if you go around, and I really heard this from Jesse Ventura, who you guys should all listen to once in a while because he's neither Republican nor
Right.
Democrat. He said, if you take away his right to kneel and object to this, even though I fought for this, he was a Navy SEAL. He was in combat in Vietnam. And he understands, even though he doesn't agree with it, that he has a right to do that, whether I like it or not. And the second that I trudge upon him not having a right to do what he believes, then he should have the right to trudge upon me and what I believe, because we're supposed to be equal people here. So what I'm saying is I didn't agree, but who is he harming by taking a kneel while they do the national anthem? Who's out there? Oh, that's well, then go away. Don't watch it then. He's still going to get on the field afterwards and play the football game the way you wanted him to or didn't want him to if you didn't like the team. But my point is, when it starts getting to where people, again, this is why I have this show. I was censored by Aiken and Wendell and everyone in those chat rooms and calling into the show. They censored me. They said they wouldn't do that. They said the show was in 2010 to 2015 or 2005. They would preach no censorship. Say what you want, no matter how drastic or radical it is. And I believe in that because, again, our country is not a democracy where 51% shits on 49%. That's what they make you believe. Our country is supposed to be even 99 people can't tell the one guy in the corner who's pissing himself and fucking doing whatever he's doing that he can't do that. He has the right as long as he's not hurting nobody. He's not damaging someone else's property or altering your life. Let him believe and do what the fuck he wants. Who cares? So we can't enter each other's minds and control each other's thoughts. That's not there yet. Even with AI and the internet, all, you're still not, man still has a freedom to turn that off and to not do that and go off and do something in the fucking real world that has nothing that you're not going to control. So my point is, I'm a Ron Paul. This is how I believe. Okay. If you're not affecting me and my property and my family and whatever, and you're doing whatever you want on your own property, I don't really have, you can't regulate with morality, ladies and gentlemen. There's no law that's going to decide that. Even if you do, it's still subject, as we see with the justice system, to when it's going to be applied and not. So my point is, all that is this thought process, to hate someone regardless. And I'm not for everyone. I don't agree. I'm just saying I will not go tell them you can't do that. As long as it's not a felony, not hurting someone else, taking a kneel. I don't care if he stays in the locker room. I don't care if he's on the shitter. As long as he gets on the field and throws a touchdown pass when the camera's on, that's the only thing that should matter to us. We're not here to if Neely can make a judgment about Colin Kaepernick or these players or anyone in the current program the NFL wants to do, then they should make judgment upon him, right? For his being a racist and using the N-word and Ku Klux Klanin and all the shit that he pulls. But no, I mean, so I said all the time, I don't agree with him, and I think he should be called for his rhetoric and his bullshit, because I think it is stick and bullshit, quite frankly, for radio and for this podcast he does. But I would never say he can't say that. I would never say you can't think that or you can't feel that. That's his right to go be a complete moron. Just like it's everyone's right to live or die and how they want to go. So these guys, though, with their thought process, I'm sure they're thinking in a boomer mentality, which is that if it affects my ability to drink a Budweiser and watch my football game, then fuck you, get off my television and out of my way. And so I think I lost your mic. I'm not hearing you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But anyways,
No.
and so that goes to the commercialism, and I don't even support all that either. But the bottom line is you have an opportunity, as you know, and I know when we watch these games, I don't got to watch that. I go off the kitchen, get something to eat while they're doing commercials and talking about whatever. I don't fucking, half the guys that are yapping on the games, I don't listen to until it actually kicks off. I start paying attention.
I don't know what the thinking is behind that, because I took that similar to like the halftime show, right? You could step away or shut it off and then tune back in, you know, when it's over. I don't, whatever.
So that doesn't bother me. I don't even, I'm not saying I agree or disagree. I don't even know what the campaign's about. My point is they can do whatever the hell they want. It's the NFL. They got billions of dollars. Again, I'm not even for all that, but if you're going to be anti that, then you got to be anti Walmart and Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Toyota and all these corporations that make billions of dollars, that have campaigns to do whatever they want to do, to make whatever statements they want to make, whether that's political or not, or social or whatever. It's on them, dude. If you don't like it, Wendell, then don't go watch the NFL. Don't talk about it. Don't even acknowledge it. And most certainly do that with, I hope you would apply that to everything in your life, but you clearly don't, because you're a hypocrite, because otherwise you'd apply that to Don Dokken, who's out there ripping people off every day. So, right. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Don Dokken.
If you're going to get down to moralities and what's right and wrong, there's a guy who's going on stage selling this thing as a band that no longer exists, and then croaking his way through a show and sitting down and
urinating himself from what we heard. Urinating himself while George Lynch does this.
I wasn't going to go on the record with that, because that was from a source. That
but you know, found, it is funny because they were like,
a source, a verified source said that he wet himself, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So, and did Wendell, was Wendell saving him then?
I don't know.
Did Wendell run to the side of the stage, back behind the amps and give him the Depends?
According to the individual, a friend of his helped him clean up, and it was not Wendell. So.
Oh, it might have been Crenshaw filling in on that gig, or someone else in the role.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Maybe
depending on the region. I think it's a regional thing. I think Don has helpers in different regions. Yeah. So, and again, Don, if you're having these problems, you can bypass all these morons and come straight to Evil. We'll sort this all out, and we'll make sure you're strapped up properly before every show. If you want to get wasted, it's on you, dude. But I would help you sort out this. I would at least help you sort out the song selection, so the songs you're going to moan and croak through when you're wasted sound better to us than the ones that don't. And we would probably find a way to get you to a urinal during the guitar solo.
As we've spoken.
John Levin. Yeah, John Levin and George Lynch are going to do a 5-minute guitar solo somewhere during the show, right? So go take a leak, bro.
Right.
If you can't unzip it, then that's where you get Wendell to meet you over there at the pisser. That's what he's supposed to do.
There was a point, I don't know if you recall, Schenker did like, I think 3 or 4 acoustic albums. And there was a point where he had talked about working with Don and have him add lyrics to. I think they were going to work on. The idea was to do an album of,
I think
a
I heard
compilation.
About this too, yes, or read about this. Yeah,
and I thought that would have probably been a good idea. Because it was acoustic. I think at that point, that was probably a good 10, 15 years ago. At that point, his voice was shot, but he could pull off acoustic stuff.
Yeah, and probably a recording too. If it was tracks rather than having to go, and even a show, I think Don can find a way, when properly rested, to get through a show. It's when you tax the vocals with multiple shows that you get to the second or third show, it's just going to get that's downhill.
Yeah.
That's for any vocalist, not just Don Dokken, ladies and gentlemen. It's any guy who's going to sing. Singing is a physical thing. It's like trying to go lift weights over and over and over for a few
Right.
hours. The next day, you want to go lift weights over and over for a few hours on the same body part you just worked the day before? Probably not. So you can do it, but it's not fun.
Hmm.
And the voice is that's just normal. So I don't know. I mean, that's all. I can't even. If again, if someone, I guess it's just lack of management, lack of proper persons helping him to understand what would be
Right.
best for him and his voice in this current situation. And I think greed, wanting to just make the money while the money is on the table at the
Hmm.
maximum dollar possible that he could get, with no care what is the quality of the product that he puts out. And some people support that, and some people are okay with that. And clearly, Moonface Drake and Wendell and these other sycophants and
Yeah.
bootlickers are fucking people who are going to do that for him. While people like Andrew and me and you are going to go, well, this isn't very good, and I'm not
Hmm.
going to go pay for this, and I'm most certainly not going to tell it like that's act like that's you should go do that, Don. No, no, no. Moving on, though, I think that we were talking about Megadeth and their thoughts of Megadeth and the end, and I have
Yeah.
definitely some strong thoughts of
So,
that. And go ahead.
so just real quick on their take on Megadeth. So they brought up the fact the end. They played that trailer that we've seen of just like
Mhm.
AI stuff.
Vic Rattlehead. Yeah,
Totally Wendell and Neely type shit because that's all they
yeah,
do these days. Again, they had a crowbar band versus brand because Dave's carried that name and it's the brand, but it's really him basically. Um,
hmm
they went into Megadeth history, which anybody that has followed, even if you're not a Megadeth fan, you kind of know the history. So they went into the whole history of the band, total bore fest,
Well,
and
when Dave left
yeah,
Metallica,
yeah, exactly. Yep,
like we don't
yep,
know this, Wendell.
yeah, yeah. They went into that whole thing, and then again, um, they did allude to possible. Oh, this was Chris because he's such an insider.
I
He's
should say Dave got kicked out of Metallica, by the
yeah,
way,
he
not
got
left.
thrown out of the
He got
band.
left. He got left on the side of the road at the rest stop, and
Right.
James said, "Keep the U-Haul moving." But go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. I think they gave him a bus ticket. Oh no,
Well,
they
that's what
didn't
they
even give
said.
him a
Yeah.
bus ticket, right? Because I
No,
think
no,
Mustaine
yeah,
said,
yeah.
"When's my bus leave?" And they go, "No, we didn't
And they
get
said,
you."
no, no. You have to
So,
figure that on your own. Yeah.
so they did say that Megadeth over, but they did bring up something that I had also heard,
Mhm.
which was this world tour. Yeah, at least I would assume North America would be Megadeth, Anthrax, and Exodus next year. So wouldn't that be something?
I had also heard a rumor prior to
Hmm.
the Anthrax saying "tip of the hat" to Megadeth, which
Right.
furthered the rumor that
I.
I had heard, which was
Hmm.
that Megadeth and Anthrax were getting together for dates.
Right.
So when Anthrax said, "Look at the Megadeth statement," da 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 da, I figured then this is
Hmm.
true. They're coming
Yeah.
together to do a tour, and there's probably going to be an opener. I figured there would be a third band who didn't
But
know who it was.
wouldn't it be awesome? I'd be greedy and
I
go,
would
Can
prefer
you guys,
Testament myself, but I'll take Exodus.
yeah, Exodus, Testament, and then also get Death Angel on there. Oh my God,
Yeah,
that would
that
be
would
like
be
the best
yeah,
shit ever.
yeah.
But so, anyways, they brought that up. But here's the thing that had me chuckling. They proclaimed themselves as two hardcore fans, but they weren't excited about it and they wouldn't go see it. And the first thing, kind of like with you, Chris, you don't even leave the house. And Neely, you're a total poser, because he referenced again, well, Slayer. And I'm like, oh, shut up with the Slayer thing. I don't buy that he's a fan at all.
I think he just goes with that because they're known as the heavy of the heavies, and he thinks in his head, and as me and you both know, there's way heavier, Wendell. But okay, in your mind of the big four or five, these are
Right,
heaviest guys.
right.
They're Slayer. So yeah, no, he always goes with that card, and I don't think
Hmm.
he knows shit about
He
Slayer.
wants to
So
be, he wants credibility. What
yeah,
a
I
clown.
mean, so my thoughts on this are that one, I'm not obviously as this is not my favorite Megadeth lineup. They're not bad. I watched some video of them performing, and they do the songs with justice, and it sounds like Megadeth. And there's little tweaks here and there, but uh, I would still go see this if Anthrax and Exodus and Megadeth are coming anywhere near me. I would definitely go check this out. That's number one. Number two, yeah, I mean, in Evil's ultimate, go back to when 1990, when Rust in Peace came out, and this is why it's behind me, because this is like it's an album that I like lodged in my Walkman at the time and just from beginning to end flipped it over beginning to end and wore this thing out listening to Marty and rip solos over Dave shit and Junior and Menza was a monster. So this band to me is pretty epic for me. And that particular era from Peace Cells to Rust to Countdown, I was just right through there. All those albums going, damn, dude, this is fucking this legit. This Mustaine is laying down some shit. Which, in my opinion, around that time, we started getting Metallica going to Black Album and all that stuff in '91, which I was not as big as I like Justice and all the stuff before that. So to me, Megadeth and Countdown kind of got that way a little bit too, but it was still heavier to me than the Black Album in my overall opinion. So the point I'm trying to make is I don't hate on him. I think what I'm a little bit sad about is that Junior's not there. That doesn't feel right to me. I think that Junior should have been a part of this. I don't care what their beefs are. I think that he's the other Dave of Megadeth, and to me, that's how Megadeth should end. It shouldn't end with just Mustaine and some guys. And that's no knock on Lomenzo. He's a fine bass player, does a hell of a job. Probably if it's not going to be Junior, it'd be Lomenzo. But the point is, it's Junior, dude. Like that, he should put some. And I asked the question, although this is going to be, and they announced it, an album and it sounds like multiple runs, tour and different around the world and different, probably do more than one run in the States, to be frank with you. And I don't knock him for that. If he can pull it off and he can rake in the dough, fine. But it does make me wonder, when this is all said and done, is he going to go away for 2 or 3 years? And then there's going to be some guy who goes, Marty Friedman Jr. and Mustaine, I got money for a show. And he's going to go, okay, it's the classic lineup. So we got to get back together, right?
Right.
I always wonder that because you're not doing it if you were doing it with Marty and Junior now as the final tour, even if they were just guests. You came out with your band right now and you did 10 songs with them, and then you said, here's 5 songs with Junior and Marty at the end of the show every night. Wouldn't all Megadeth fans go, whoa, that's the way to end it, man? Fuck, he had everybody up there. I mean, you can't have Menza, he's dead. But the point is, he's not doing that. So that kind of makes me wonder, is he going to leave a door open here for a few years down the road when there's been silence, he's bored, and the money's run a little bit drier than it was a few years before, and there's some guy, even if it's for one show, who says, I got the dough and I want to see Rust in Peace. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. It just makes me wonder. So, but I'm not hating on it. I like Megadeth a lot. It's something I go to routinely when I'm in a pissy mood and I want to hear something that's aggressive and nasty. Holy Wars to me cannot be, I mean, you just put that on and just go, it just knocks your ass off. I don't care. If you like metal music, how could you not like that? So, yeah, no, props to Dave, regardless of how you feel about him. And I know, understand he has a prickly attitude and then people sometimes hate this, but you can't change the fact that if it wasn't for James Hetfield, Lars, and Dave Mustaine, you probably wouldn't have all this shit that came in American metal afterwards. So, yeah.
Well, yeah, and they did bring up the fact that he'd probably get bored and come back at some point and try to do something. But no, I mean, I almost see that even if he went away, it'd be something similar to the whole Slayer thing, right? I mean, they went away and then they come back and do festivals and stuff
Dates,
like that.
one-offs.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Like I said,
that could still happen, but it would be
and he's
nice.
gonna.
Yeah, I mean, like you, it would be nice if they did maybe even like one final show or something, and they brought
Yeah.
Friedman and Dave Ellefson and maybe some of the other guys that were in the band.
Yeah.
That
Absolutely. There's a list of guys that are still around that could be Poland and so forth. And
that's right.
that's the way because again, they're the kind of band that has a pretty big legacy here. You could get a theater in LA and say, we're going to do one night, or even a couple nights, 3 nights in a row, like Metallica was doing. And each night we're going to do a couple songs for different albums, and Poland's going to come up and do his stuff. And then Marty's going to come up and do this couple tunes. And then the next night you can, fuck, you can get Al Petrelli, right? Wasn't he in there for a minute?
Yeah.
I'm just saying there's guys out there that played on some stuff, and I didn't mind some of the stuff he did with them. I think it gets knocked and people don't listen to it, but some of the stuff, if you go back, there's a couple tracks on almost every album that's pretty badass. So Mustaine doesn't really give you shit. That's very rare. I mean, there's that one. What was the one album? That's one I hate.
Oh, Risk.
Yes, there you
Yeah,
go. I
that one's
mean, and
awful.
maybe and cryptic writings.
Yeah, that one's kind of weak too. Yeah.
There's a couple in there. The World Needs a Hero or something. I think also had a song or two, but then a
Yeah.
bunch of other shit that you're like Super Collider was a kind of a turd.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that if you go over, but that's how many albums does he put out? 20?
Yeah. I don't,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? You're
Forget
going to
that.
have
Yeah.
a couple of turds somewhere during this process, of course, of life. You're going to have albums where your writing wasn't up to snuff or the musicianship or the producer wasn't jiving. So, my point is, for the most part, you can pick up a lot of Megadeth albums and go, here's 4 or 5 songs of this album that are going to rip your head off and make you go, dude, this is metal. So, and in my opinion, and I love Metallica,
Mm-hmm.
but go back and listen. Kill 'Em All has some shit on it that
Yeah.
then is lacking, and the ones that some of you kind of like on the Ride the
Mm-hmm.
Lightning, then you looked at the credits and realized it still says Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
or he's somewhere in here in this mix because he still had hands in these riffs. So, anyways, tribute to him is absolutely due, and he's been around. He's survived cancer.
Yeah.
So no matter what you think of him, the dude has been really put his self and his body out there, playing a lot of shows for a long time, and always puts on a quality show. I don't care what lineup you
Mm-hmm.
saw, you could barely go, "Well, Megadeth sucked tonight. That was a shitty show," like that.
Right.
I've never heard anyone say that. So,
Right.
yeah. So again, consistency and some quality, and I just wish that he would end it in a fashion that involved Junior and probably
Right.
Marty and some other players that make him. But we also know that Dave's ego is rather large, and maybe he just wants it to be about the Dave show. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still, if it comes around Oregon, I got to see what I'm imagining. If it comes, it's going to be Portland, but that
Mm-hmm.
might make me drive Fort Worth to shit city.
Well,
and deal with
I
it.
mean, if it's those three bands or
Yeah.
those three bands and another opener, that I
Mhm.
mean, wow, that
Yeah.
would be awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
do
I'm
you
not.
so it was so funny listening to I'm not excited about it at all. It's like, yeah, right. Yeah.
No, Anthrax with Belladonna, Dukes with
Mhm.
that Exodus, I'm cool with, and Megadeth's current lineup does that. Timu kid or whatever his name is, he does
Oh, yeah.
rip on guitar. He's not
Mhm.
lacking in skills. So, no, and Lomenzo and Dirk's got it down, dude. That's a solid rhythm section. I'm not knocking them in any way. If you go watch the video, dude, they got the shit down. It sounds like Megadeth, bro. So I just wish that Junior, because of his investment in time and effort and all the things he did and the way that he was he's like the Lars and James Metallica, Dave and Megadeth. That's the way it was. And so just wish he was having some participation. I don't think his involvement with a beautiful blonde girl from Europe
Oh yeah, right.
and then some videos that should never have been released.
Yeah.
Should that preclude him from playing bass guitar for a final gig with Megadeth? That's what I'm
Mhm.
saying.
Right.
So I'm just laboring for banging the gavel for that. And as far as not excited, I mean, I'm not like blown away, but when I heard Anthrax and Megadeth, I thought, well, that would be a good pairing. I'd probably go check that out. Who else is in it? So if it's Exodus, yeah, I'll go. Gary Holt and them are going to rip it up. So yeah, I don't know. Again, okay, Neely, you'll go see Wasp. You'll go see Blackie
Right.
fucking Tracky Lawless
Right.
get on there and start fucking sharping his way with no vocals coming through while it's coming out the PA with all these vocal tracks, and you're okay with all fakeness, but you're not okay with Megadeth going up there and playing live in front of your face and then ripping it off. Whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Again, you're okay with Don Dokken, bro.
Right. Oh no shit. That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
with Don
I'm not
Dokken.
again, and Mustaine has definitely lost a lot
Mhm.
vocally because he's older. But again, would you rather sit through a Megadeth show with Mustaine doing what he does right now, or Don Dokken? I beg
Oh
any
yeah,
of you.
Mustaine.
Your
Yeah.
ears would rather go see Mustaine and Megadeth.
And he wouldn't piss himself on stage either.
No, he's not going to be wasted. He's not going to be sitting
Yeah.
down on a chair, huffing and puffing, looking for a
I like
Pall
it.
Mall cigarette
Yeah.
while fucking Timu's ripping
Yeah.
a guitar solo.
And then he waits for his part, and they'll go, "Okay, I'm on. Where's my guitar?"
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just no. Come on.
That's
So
funny.
I'm not excited. Well, then good. Stay home, Wendell.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of us will go enjoy some Megadeth. So
Right. Yeah. Posers.
yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying that you can like everything and every decision. I don't agree with a lot of that stuff. But when it gets down to the music of it and the actual putting a band on stage and being consistent and performing night in and night out, the Megadeth machine is bigger, better, more able than any Dokken machine ever has been. And a lot of other bands in that. There's a lot of metal bands. He said, well, look at how Megadeth operates and whatever, dude. Dave has consistently made a career, made a lot of money, sold a lot of tickets, put a lot of good music out there. Whether you liked him or not, you cannot deny his guitar riffing ability, which is not something Don Dokken has. So, yeah. I'll be frank. I like George Lynch. George Lynch doesn't have Dave Mustaine metal riffage in him. No, yeah, just not.
Yeah, no way.
Raise your horns high, let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal